Hey guys, Matt here. So in this video, I want to talk about BAKKT stock. Now this was a company that was recommended to me in the comments, and given all of the, I guess, the doom and gloom of some of my recent videos about Hyliion and Nikola and Gevo not doing well, I wanted to have a little fun and start looking at a few different companies. And I got to say, BAKKT is, now, this is just a first impressions video. This is not a deep dive or anything like that. I still got a lot of information to go over. But I gotta say, from a first impressions point of view, this was a very interesting stock to look at. Now, before I give my initial thoughts on the company, I do want to briefly go over my investing strategy, at least as of now. Back in 2020, 2021, if you follow my channel, you'll know that I did a lot of looking at the numbers, but I also invested a lot based on the story and a lot on hype. Like, I invested in companies like Hyliion, and I guess the jury's still out on Gevo. I put money in ARK, ETF, and stuff like that. Now, that was a few years ago. I like to think that I've sobered up since then. And my investing strategy, I think, is a lot more conservative. I don't need every stock I buy to be a 10xer. I just like nice, boring, comfortable returns. So armed with that knowledge, let's take a look at BAKKT. So what is BAKKT? It's a U.S. company that it's basically a crypto exchange that focuses on businesses. Now, there was a time in which they had a consumer-facing element, but they left that to focus mainly on business to business. Now, I don't know if it's a red flag, but something to look at is that it's a crypto company. That's the first thing that caught my eye. And you've seen crypto exchanges and how well a lot of them had done in the past year. So this does get me on edge a little bit, but I like to think that businesses are more resilient to making emotional decisions than individual investors. So the fact that they're focusing on business to business only, that keeps me reading. If this was just like consumer facing, I would look forward. I would bow out of the stock immediately. Now, one thing I want to point out is that the coins that they've chosen for their exchange, it seems to be the big ones. Now, another thing that they claim is that they are audited by a third party, they're an American company. So, I don't know the nature of these third-party audits or anything like that, because like I said, I just started looking into them, but it's nice that they said that. Now, one thing that caught my eye when I started looking at some of the numbers themselves, and this part I don't like. There are two things that I don't like here. The first thing is this part, the fact that they're 81% down. That's the first thing I don't like. And the second thing, let me find it here. So I don't like this part, and I don't like this part right here. Wild stock movements. Now, it's a penny stock, so it's expected, but these wild stock movements, I don't like them. I don't like stocks that trade violently down, and I don't like stocks that trade violently up. That gives me no comfort in my investment. But let's keep looking, because some of the numbers that they posted, at least recently, really caught my eye. Now, just taking a look at some of the recent statistics, they don't have a PE because they're not net income profitable yet. And as you know, I don't buy non-profitable companies anymore. That is a rule. But I continue looking. So far, their price to sales, at least as of this past quarter, that looks really attractive. So something happened last quarter, and we'll take a look at the income statement in a second. Just taking a look at some of their numbers, their income statement quarterly, like they massively jumped up from March to June. So I don't know if they started selling whatever product they were selling then or whatnot. I need to look more into that. But just looking at the numbers themselves, the revenue jumped right up. They said in their outlook for 2023 that they're expected to be break even, so not quite profitable, but very close to it by the end of that year, which I would very much like to see happen. They're expecting their full year revenue to be between 750 million and 1.2 billion, assuming I'm reading that right, which is, this is some massive growth as far as revenue. So I would like to, because I mean, crypto is pretty volatile. I would like to stick around and see if they actually met that. If you take a look at so that's the operating income. If you take a look at the net income, where is it? We can see that getting better and better. Well, I would not really. Holding steady, but very slowly getting better, especially compared to last year. So I would like to see how that does over the next few quarters. Their balance sheet looks okay. They have more assets than liabilities, which is good. They have a little bit of debt here, but I mean, they have far more cash, so they could pay the debt off entirely if they wanted to. And plus, they have far more equity than debt. So the balance sheet it's pretty good. I mean, not the best in the world, but it's pretty good. The cash flow, and this is something I need to look more into. I have not looked through this fully, but one thing to note is that from a operating cash flow or from a free cash flow standpoint and an operating cash flow standpoint, they are positive as of this past quarter. Now, they did they worked through a lot of change in working capital and stuff like that to get there, which again, I need to look more into. But the fact that they are at least free cash flow positive for this quarter, it is pretty interesting. Now, for the 2024 outlook, according to their earnings, they're expecting 3.4 billion to 9 billion by the end of the year for full revenue. Now, I mean, call me skeptical, but I'm going to wait, like before I make a decision whether to buy or not. I'm going to wait and see exactly how this pans out. So this company is very interesting to look at. I obviously can't buy the stock yet because, like I said, my investing strategy, I don't buy non-profitable companies. Now, yeah, will I miss out on gains? Once assuming it does become close to profitable next year on a net income basis or at least an EBITDA basis, will the stock price be up? Yeah, sure. And would I miss out on gains by not buying now? Absolutely. But like I said, I don't need every stock I buy to be a 10xer. I just like comfortable returns with I would say, an acceptable amount of risk. And given the stock price fluctuations and all that stuff and all the claims that it made, I kind of want to stick around and keep the stock on my watch list and see how this does over the next year. And if it's still trading at a price that I would consider undervalued by the time it gets close to break even, I will. But like I said, it's not a buy for me yet. Just based on my very conservative strategy, but it is on my watch list. But anyways, take care, have a great day, and eat your vegetables.